What's up? What's up? What's up, people? What's going on with you? Welcome to the show. This is Manny Unplugged podcast. I'm your host, Jermaine McCrimmon. We want to give thanks to the Most High first and foremost. We here again. We're making some noise, you know? That's all. We're just making a little noise. This episode is a special one for me. I dealt with this a lot over my career, and we're going to talk about it. We like to thank everyone for tuning in with us all over the world. Like to thank everyone on our social media pages for looking out for us, joining in, comments, likes, shares on our YouTube page, on our platforms we have, social media, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, Facebook. We just want to give thanks because without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And sometime as I would say a host or someone just creating content is very difficult on giving you guys the best content we can find. A lot of times I talk about different infractions or incidents that happen throughout the world. And I want you guys to know that everything that happens around the world affects everybody else as well. It might not have a direct effect to us, but things do affect us in the long run. So when we go over certain things and I see it happening in certain states or part of the world, I always imagine if that was us, what would we do? Or if we went through that, how would we handle going through that? Hurricanes hit, we wonder, how would we go through that? Or we had a blackout, or we had if S hit the fan and you had to keep one cocked and loaded in your house and take care of your family, how would you do that? Or emergency money, you had to leave town on a drop of a dime. How would you do that? Earthquake hit, your life is upside down. You have no more homes, you get burnt out. How would you do that? I remember back in the day when Katrina hit New Orleans and shut down all New Orleans. I was working for the city in New York, and I was working for HRA. And at HRA, they told us, be aware, we're going to have a lot of people coming in from all over the world, but especially victims from Katrina when it hit. And when it hit, we did have quite a few people coming in needing service, needing special needs. And we really try to take care of them as best as possible, because what if that was you? You want somebody to smile in your face and tell you you're going to be all right when you have to relocate and start over. Say you was from Spain and you had to start all over in New York. Everything you owned in Spain is lost. And you had to come to New York and get started all over again. You know how frightening that is? You know how terrifying that is? It's amazing, but people really do go through things like that. So I'm happy to be here. This episode will air Thursday, March 20th, 2025. And we got a couple of subjects we're going to talk about. And I hope that you guys don't get offended about my passion I'm going to have on certain topics as we go through this year. Certain topics really irk my nerves. It's very, very, very dear to me because I used to work in the field. And when I'm in the field, you look at things like this that I want to talk about that's uncalled for just by having the right protocol, procedures, and things like that in place. So the first thing I'm going to talk about today, and no videos today, just me pure talking all the way through. Hope you guys enjoy that. No storytelling, but if you do like me to give some storytelling, please shoot me an email. I got tons of stories to tell you. One of the things I'm going to talk about is what took place at Harvard University out in Massachusetts up there. This wasn't televised widely by news and media. No one really covered it. Every time I looked at it, it was a 30-second skit, 20-second skit, or maybe it was a minute and 20 seconds, 3 minutes tops, and 3 minutes is stretching it. But Harvard University is giving out free tuition for everyone, free tuition. Now, of course, you have to meet the guidelines. You have to pass the test to get accepted by the school. But if you in Harvard, in Massachusetts up there, and you like to go to Harvard, now money is not an object, especially if you're a person of color, because they kicked it out. Diversity, they kicked it all out and said, listen, we're not going through that. We want everybody to be able to have an education and can afford an education at that. So I did a little research, and I did the average salary for Massachusetts up there in that area. And the average salary is 128,889. The percentile is crazy because with the 25%, 25th percentile of 92,306 and a 75th percentile of 163,682. So I want you guys to know that most people that live up there are doing very well. So the tuition used to be $56,000 a year to go to Harvard. They was giving out free tuition for anyone that made a family, a parent couple making 85,000 or less. They give you free tuition. And now, after I'm looking into it, if you're making 85,000 or less, that's a lot of money still. But for that medium up there, that wasn't a lot of money. So they saying they'll give you free tuition if it's under 85. So that was great. Well, now that's thrown out the window. They don't care. As long as you make under, they do care. I'm sorry. As long as you make under 200,000. If you make under 200,000 a year, you can go to Harvard for free. And it's similar to what New York and BMCC colleges and Bronx Community Colleges and most of the colleges in New York do. They give out free education. You got to do your 4 years and you don't have to pay. That's something they just passed not too long ago. They might put a little back end on it where if you do the 4 and then you go back and get your master's, you might have to stay in New York an extra year or two so you don't have to pay for the college, pay back college. So that's not too bad. I mean, when you think about it, it's still getting a free education. Now, a lot of people will knock the point that just because you get an education doesn't mean you're going to be successful and have a great job. And of course, it goes with it. I'm going to do a show in a couple of days about unemployment rate with a master's and a bachelor's. And there's still tons of people out here making below what they would like to make. Of course, you're never happy. But I mean, not even making 6 figures and you don't went to school for all that time. It's unfortunate, but things are changing. It's taking time, but a lot of people are unemployed in this economy we having right now. It is very rough out here. So crime rates do go up. Excuse me one second, I have to cough. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm getting over a cold. I still have a little bit in my voice. Just saying, just because you have an education doesn't mean you're destined for greatness. It doesn't mean you're going to get the job you want. It doesn't mean they're going to hire you. It doesn't mean they're going to look and give you that job because you're freshly out of college. It doesn't mean that, since you had a 4.0, let's hire you. No, it doesn't mean nothing like that. Now, it does mean that you have more of a chance of getting paid on a higher scale because you did the acquired knowledge to get the education is needed to get the higher scale job. I understand that, but everything doesn't always fit. Sometimes you just have to wait. When God wants you to get it, or when God sees fit for you to be ready to receive what he has for you, it comes from far left. You won't even recognize it. Sometimes that's just how he works, right? So moving on, my next topic is about Trump. Trump administration asked MTA is Mass Transit Authority in New York, to They're going to threaten to take their funding, federal funding from MTA because the crime rate has been ridiculous in New York. So they're saying if you can't make mass transit safe again for the passengers, we're going to take funding. And this is a good thing. It's a very, very good thing that they trying to put some stipulations on giving out federal funding. However, things are not on the rise according to statistics in New York and the MTA Transit Authority. So as we look at 2020, it's down 40%. Same time in 2020, we're down 40%. This year, we're 22% below last year. 2019, we're 19% than 2019. However, this is what I believe Trump is talking about right here. He mentioned about felony assaults. We were 4% last year. We're up 49% on felony assaults in New York City Transit. So the hand-to-hand felony assaults is happening. It's popping. It's going on in New York. And, you know, for the most part, big cities have a lot more crime than smaller cities. It's just what it is. More people, things happen, more crime, more things to do. People don't go to sleep. They wonder. They want to act up. And these are the things that happen a lot within big cities. So he said that if they don't reduce the crime rate and they don't show them in paper that it's being reduced, he's going to take away a lot of federal funding. Now, I didn't even realize millions and millions of dollars, probably even billions, $2 or $3 billion go to New York MTA Transit to help keep that city running like that. I never knew that. For what I was in tune with MTA is MTA signed a contract to service New York. Contract was written. Boom. We're going to produce this, give you guys this type of car fare, buses, trains. That's that. You sign the contract, we provide the service. That's what I thought happened. And it's not that. It's a federal funding program also. And Trump is now looking into getting some money reduced from MTA because of the because of the violence that's happening inside the buses, trains, and so forth. However, Port Authority police, you never hear about them. Now, of course, Port Authority is in New York, but why do we need a Port Authority police? Now, I understand that goes with tolls and bridges, but why can't we all work together? So therefore, it's more bodies everywhere. I mean, MTA police, that's another police. I don't know if you know, but in New York alone, you got over 26 different police departments that help monitor the crime rate in New York. You got sanitation police. You got post office police. You have, as I mentioned, Port Authority police. You got bridge and tunnel police. You got NYPD. You got environmental police. So right there, you got 7 or 8 of them right there. Plus, you got HRA police. You got Department of Homeless Police. You have so many different police departments, branches all over, different badges. They all fighting crime. So these things take effect. You know, it takes effect. You got different hospital police departments. You got Pelham Bay Park Police. You got Jacoby Hospital Police. You got Presbyterian Hospital Police. You got Metropolitan Police. You have so many just in New York. So we have to take key to that and understand that a lot of pressures on transit, a lot of pressures on police departments throughout the country and also in New York. And by the way, what he's doing now in New York His next stop is Chicago. He mentioned it. And Washington, D.C. He mentioned it too. So he's going step by step in all these states, all these cities. He's going to check out the federal funding and what they're giving out and what we're getting back with production, and he's going to reduce it. So he wanted to cut off DOE, but instead of shutting it down, Department of Education, he agreed for them to get rid of 2,500 people. So he's trying to cut the fat. And I'm going to tell you, I see where he's going. The economy is going to change. Things will improve. It will, because a lot of big wigs got big checks and they sitting there. You'd be surprised. You get rid of 10 people that's making six figures, and you'll see things will change when you do that. Because 10 people that making six figures is $1 million you saving. So if you get rid of a certain amount of people, you're going to be impacting the budget. Yes, they're going to get buyed out. You're going to get buyouts and all that, and retirement plans and all that other stuff. But if we can reduce that, that's going to help. The tariffs is going to help. Believe it or not, quiet is kept. Do your research. Trucking is starting to pick up big time. 18-wheeler cargo traveling, all the commuting, highways, cargo, vans, trucking is starting to really pick up. Because when you put a force on certain things to take effect, like international waters, I told you guys in the last episode, Trump went over to international waters in the Red Sea and told name of the people, I'm gonna call it Houdan, told the Houdan people that was trying to run the Red Sea over there that we're not going to tolerate that. You're not going to be bullying the seas. He started bombing on them. He started bombing on them since Monday, and he's still bombing on them and tell them you're going to let the Red Sea go so we can have international waters. So in other words, by doing that, we don't have to ship something across another route that would take an extra 3 weeks. Now we say, oh, 3 weeks is 3 weeks. Believe me or not, that costs American people and everybody else more money when we got to wait an extra 3 weeks for something. So by being able to go through the Red Sea, cut off all the middleman or all that going around, you save on fuel, you save on taxes, you save all the way around, because production and receiving your goods come faster. It just comes to you. So it's easier for everybody. It's easier. So that's a relief on everybody. It's a relief on everything. All the departments he's closing. And I know a lot of people are upset about what he's closing because he's picking and choosing. I get it. But in the long run, it will take effect on the world and how our economy is going to get out the mud. Now, he got some guys with him, and I don't mean to get off track about Trump, but he got some people with him, like Elon Musk, who knows how to move money. He knows how to make money. Their whole family does this. This is a long heritage of BS with Elon, and we're going to talk about that another time. But they know how to move certain things, and people are scared of Trump. A lot of people fear Trump because, sometimes he act a little crazy. I mean, that's just what it is. So one of the last things I want to talk about, and this is really what tickles my fancy. 1 second. Got to drink some water. The last thing I want to give you a little bit of a history, and let you understand this last topic I'm going to talk about. It happened out in Florida, in Palm Beach County, Florida, at Palm West Hospital, I believe it is. And before I get into it, I want to let you know, guys, I've been doing security and law enforcement over 25 years. And I done dealt with EDPs, emotionally disturbed people. And now they call them Baker Act patients. And it's just a better name for a person that might be on medication, that might not have all right now. They might not have their senses. They could snap, go crazy. They could snap and attack people and such. I don't know if you guys remember my last couple episodes back when I mentioned about a guy that got into the hospital in Pennsylvania and killed up a bunch of people. I don't know why, and I don't understand. I still don't understand. I'm going to do more research on it. When you go to a hospital, security presence should be present. It just should be there, intimate. It should be heavy. You're setting a tone early. When somebody comes there and tests your borders or come there and just test you by seeing what they can do and how you're going to react to what they do, lets them know how they're going to act up. I don't know how, and it's so sad, but a little lady named Leah Mull, 67-year-old nurse, was attacked by Stephen Scantlebury. He is a Baker's Act patient. He was allegedly brought to the hospital because he had some type of sickness, not for his illness of mental health, but because he had a sickness. Something was wrong with him. He wasn't feeling good, whatever. But on his jacket, I want you guys to understand this. He has a history of being a Baker's Act. He has a history, police report. He has a history of acting up. Now, lo and behold, the nurse, she's been working there for over 20 years. 20 years she worked there, and now she might lose it all. This man, Stephen Scantlebury, he beat the living daylights out of this woman. She might lose her sight because he beat up both her eyes so bad that she looks hard. You know, it's just disgusting the way he did her. Every bone in her face is broken. Now, there's some things that happen, and some questions need to be answered. And I don't understand. The CEO of Palm West Hospital called police department to come in because this man is running around in the hospital. I will say it again. You guys got to hear this. This man, Baker's Act patient, is beat up a nurse, 67-year-old nurse, Layla Mull, beat her up bad to a pulp, brutally attacked this woman. She's laying on the floor, unconscious, swole up. I mean, did her dirty. He's running around the hospital. Where is security? Why did they take this man that has a record of being a Baker's Act patient to an institution, a hospital that cannot cater or take care of a Baker's Act patient? I don't care he's not acting like he's crazy. He has a history of becoming Baker's Act. He has it. He has a history, police record of acting up. How is this humanly possible for them to let this man come in this hospital, beat the living pulp out of this nerd, and now he's running around the hospital as they call for backup? Where is security? There's nobody in security there. What is security doing? Why wasn't he put on a 1-to-1? Just for precaution, for safety of people, why wasn't he put on a 1-to-1? Just because he has a history of being violent. Why did they treat him lightly? He is 33 years old, good shape, Caucasian man, and beat the pulp out this Indian lady. This happened about 3 weeks ago. No one's talking about it like that. How is it Palm West Hospital don't have an emergency procedure for an active shooter? Do they got one for that? Do they have one for a fire? Do they have one for a Baker's Act patient? Evidently, they don't, because all they did was call the police. The man picked up scissors and attacked this lady with scissors as well. There's no men in this hospital that can stand up. Maybe they always feared for their life. No police, no security, nothing there. This man is running around the hospital tearing up. Did we not see what happened in Pennsylvania? Why we don't have these measures there? Well, we only got one security officer. But we got doctors and nurses making thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. We have no security platform at all there in the hospital. This is crazy. The lady's going to lose her sight, most likely. Both are just lost her sight now. The trauma that she's going to have for the rest of her life over a Baker's Act patient. And the worst part, guys, the worst part about all this is the CEO of the hospital called PD and said, I'm not worried about the lady being unconscious. I'm more focused on the Baker's Act patient. It's a recording of that. How is that humanly possible? If you were that concerned about the Baker's Act patient, why didn't address it before he got violent? Why there's no procedures there to take care of that before he gets violent? Why he wasn't secluded in a room, locked in a room? So what? Either he goes here and gets locked in here and get treated inside here with security there, 2 outside, 1 inside, or he don't get service at all. Take him to another institution. Now watch this. Somebody, as they triaged him and checked him out, told him that he was going to get admitted. There you go. That's your trigger. Tell me, why in God's good name would you tell a Baker's Act patient he's going to get admitted to a hospital? They're going to find him a bed. I'll wait. You know, if you're a thief and you break into somebody's house and you live there, you tell the thief, I'm going to call the cops, you should leave. You think he's going to leave? I'm just saying. You think he's going to wait for the cops to come? So you think this man going to wait for you to find him a bed? Huh? You really think that? So I don't know who told him that they're going to find him a bed. But evidently, he liked being free. They end up arresting him outside somewhere near the highway. He was outside. Done did his damage, ran out of there. I'm out. See y'all later. He has a history. Why this man is not being closely monitored by the state? I got further questions. The state documented him to be a Baker's Act patient, right? So why he not in the institution for Baker's Act? I don't care how well he acts. Until he show you consistency, he got to be contained until he's a danger, right? That's what they say, right? He's only contained if he's a danger to himself. Y'all know the other word, or others. So how do we know he's a danger to others or himself? We got to wait for him to act like this? Because this lady's done. God, willing, she comes back, but her son, her daughter, they got a lawyer, they're going to sue the hospital. They're going to probably name the hospital after her when they finish getting the money they're going to get. Because even though, nurses sign up to do a job, the hospital got to provide a certain amount of safety. That's a key word, guys. Safety. So where is the safety measures being met at this hospital? Who is to blame? Why there was no announcement made in that hospital to shut it down, lock doors, whatever the case may be? We have a Baker's Act patient on the loose. Where's security at, or police? Because hospitals now, they have police inside who carry. They could have put 2 in them, put them down. But it's big money, you see. It's big money, big lawsuits. If you shoot this man and you can't prove that he deserved to be put down. But he's a threat to himself and others. That don't mean you're supposed to shoot and kill him. But if we can't wrestle him down, tase him. Put him in 3-point restraints. Why is he loose doing this? Look what he did. So now the case is in court, because I said to you guys, this happened about 3 weeks ago. So they're not playing. They're going to sue, do whatever they need to do, because this lady who was a registered nurse that worked at this hospital for over 20 years now might need medical attention for the rest of her life. She can't produce or conduct her duties as a nurse. Who's to say she can even see enough to do what she needed to do? Every bone in her face was broken. She had bleeding from her brain. The man, I don't know if you guys know, but there's not a lot of tall Indian or Hindu people. I haven't seen too many females like that. I'm not trying to be racist or anything like that. They might be out there. From my recollection of them, they're short. And this lady was a short little Indian lady, just looked like a sweetheart. And I mean, she took a beating. Where was other nurses to stop him? Any male nurses there? No male PCTs? No male janitor walking around? Nobody's around to get this man off this lady? Do you know how many times he had to hit her and really beat up on her the way he did? Anyway, I'm sorry. I got on a little rant. It happens. I get very emotional with that because I dealt with them before. They have supernatural strength. If you ever dealt with a Baker's Act patient, their strength is phenomenal. Okay? When they juiced up on that juice, y'all know the juice I'm talking about. Adderall, whatever you want to get them, psych evaluation is done. They know they're going to a bed they don't want to be at. They got all type of unhuman strength. And they're not trying to hear nothing you got to say. And sometimes you got to get down with it to get them under control, or somebody can't get hurt. Sometimes they take their medication. You go in there to do a 3-point restraint. You go in there and tell them, listen, you're going to take your medication. All depends on the approach. It all depends on if he like you. It all depends if you actually listen to him. He might not say nothing. So you take a person that has a history like that. He doesn't get a psych eval or get evaluation by himself. I don't care if he's there for a stomach ache. He doesn't do that by himself without having security there. Who wrote down nurses admin? What's going on over there? Security, procedures, and policy. What's going on over there? Now, granted, this hospital is not cut for that. Then you shouldn't be doing it. But it's all about the insurance coverage. Bill his insurance. We'll take care of it. Just bill his insurance. We'll do it. He got proper insurance? Yeah, sit him down. Forget everybody's safety. Sometimes not all patients are good for your hospital. The patient needs are more important than if his insurance are good and he has good insurance. I'm Jermaine McCrimmon. I'm your host for the Humanity Unplugged podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you again on Tuesday. Have a good one.